Hey there and welcome. You know that feeling when you're trying to describe someone in English, but you just can't find the perfect word? Or maybe you're a little worried that the word you choose might not be, well, polite. We've all been there. So today, we're going to fix that. This is your ultimate guide to the vocabulary for describing people's appearance. We're going to cover everything from hair and face all the way to first impressions. I promise, by the end of this, you'll feel way more confident painting a really clear and respectful picture with your words. Okay, before we jump into the main topic, I just want to ask a quick favor. If you could please take just a moment to subscribe, turn on that little notification bell, like this explainer, and maybe leave a comment. It really does help support the channel. Your engagement truly helps us make more of these for you. Thank you so much for that. All right, let's get into it. So, here's what we've got on tap for today. First up, we're going to talk about describing hair and faces. Then we'll get into skin, complexion, and tans. After that, a really important one, talking about someone's build, politely. Then we'll cover general appearance and impressions. I've got a cool language tip for you with the ish suffix. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with some thoughts on personality. Sound good? All right, Section 1, describing hair and face. These are really the foundational words for any clear description. Let's start here, because, it's usually the first thing you notice about someone, right? Okay, let's start with hair types. Super simple. You've got straight, wavy, and curly. Pretty straightforward, right? Now for face shapes. Some really common neutral terms are thin-faced and round-faced. You might also hear chubby face for someone with, fuller cheeks. Just a little heads up on that last one, though. It's often used in a friendly way, but you gotta be careful. It really depends on who you're talking to. Now, for a couple of specific looks, a crew cut, you see this a lot, is that really short hairstyle, kind of like in the military. And if someone doesn't have any hair on their head, the word we use is bald. Let's just focus on that sound for a sec. Bald. It's a totally neutral, common word, so don't be afraid to use it. Okay, what about other stuff on the face? Well, you've got a beard, which is the hair on the chin, and a mustache, which is the hair right above the lip. Now, mustache can be a tricky one to say. Let's try it. Mustache. One more time. Mustache. Perfect. Then you have freckles, those small brown spots you sometimes get on your skin, especially after being out in the sun. Our appearance changes as we get older, right? So a polite way to talk about someone losing hair from the front is to say they have receding hair. And you'll also see wrinkles. That's wrinkles, which are just the lines that appear on your face over time. And of course, this is when hair might start to go gray or even turn white. Okay, we all know the basics, right? Blonde, brown hair, maybe ginger-haired. But I want to give you a really beautiful, slightly more advanced word, auburn. Let's say it, auburn. It's this gorgeous, rich, red-brown color. Seriously, using a word like auburn just makes your description sound so much more vivid. Like, she has such beautiful auburn hair. See? It just sounds great. Okay, let's move on. Section 2 is all about skin, complexion, and tans. So now we're getting into the vocabulary for skin tone, which is super useful. The main word here is complexion. That's complexion. And it just means the natural color and look of someone's skin. The two most common and totally neutral words you'll hear are fair, for lighter skin, and dark, for deeper colored skin. Simple as that. And of course, we have the phrase getting a tan, which is just what we call it when your skin gets darker from being in the sun. All right, next up, Section 3, talking about build politely. And I want to pause here for a second, because this is a really important one. Choosing the right words for a sensitive topic like this is absolutely crucial. It really can make all the difference. So I want you to think about this. How do we talk about weight respectfully? It's tricky, right? Because the words we pick can have these feelings attached to them, either positive or negative. We call that connotation, and it's super important here. This is a perfect example. Look, the word fat It's very direct, and honestly, it can often sound impolite or even mean. So, what are the alternatives? Well, you could say plump, which sounds a bit softer, or stout, which kind of suggests a strong, solid build. A really common and safe one is just to say someone is a bit overweight. It's much gentler. And here's another great one, skinny and slim. They both basically mean thin, but they have a totally different vibe. Skinny can sometimes have a negative feeling, like maybe someone is too thin, but slim? That almost always sounds positive, like in a healthy, attractive way. It's a tiny difference in the word, but a huge difference in the feeling it gives. Let's run through a few more. Stocky is a good word for someone with a broad, solid build. Well-built or muscular is pretty obvious. It means they have good muscles, and you'll hear this a lot for men. Now, the word obese, that's obese, is really more of a medical term. You probably wouldn't use it in a casual chat. And finally, a nice figure is a common compliment, usually for a woman about her body shape. Okay, section 4, general appearance and impressions. So we've done the specific details. Now let's kind of zoom out and look at the big picture, the overall impression someone makes. So you can make a positive impression or a not so positive one. On the positive side, you could be described as smart, elegant, or well-dressed. And a quick tip, in British English, smart often means you look neat and stylish, not just that you're intelligent. Then on the flip side, if someone looks a bit untidy, you might use words like scruffy or messy looking. Now, let's talk about attractiveness. Stunning is a huge compliment. It means you think someone is incredibly attractive. Good looking is a safe bet for pretty much anyone. Handsome is typically used for men, but not always. The opposite is simple, unattractive. And I love this next one, feature. A feature is a part of someone's face that's particularly nice. So you could say something like, her eyes are her best feature. It's a lovely compliment. So all of these little details we've been talking about, the clothes, the face, the vibe, they all add up to one thing, a first impression. That's just your very first feeling or thought about a person right when you meet them. And, for better or worse, first impressions can really stick. Okay, moving on to section 5, and this is a great little language tip. I'd almost call it a hack. It's a quick and super useful way to sound more natural when you're not 100% sure about something. And the magic suffix is ish. You just stick it on the end of some words, and it basically means around or kind of. It's perfect for when you don't know the exact detail. For example, you're not sure of his age? He must be 30-ish. Her hair color isn't quite brown, it's brownish. She's not super tall, but not short either. She's tallish. See how useful that is? You'll hear this all the time. So for our last section, section 6, let's talk about personality and some final thoughts. We've spent all this time talking about how people look on the outside, but now I want to pivot to what's on the inside, which, let's be honest, is probably what really counts.
And really, this is the main point of the whole thing. After all these words and all these details about appearance, what's the big takeaway? It's this. I think personality matters most. It's so important to remember that who a person is goes way, way deeper than just how they look.
So I want to leave you with a question to think about. What do you think is the most important part of a first impression? Is it someone's appearance or is it something else, like their smile or their energy or just their kindness? I would genuinely love to know what you think, so please drop a comment below. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, like, and leave a comment to support the channel.